welcome to the Talk FCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys. I hope you've all had a good Sunday so far, but here we are going to do some Barcelona news, and there has been some pretty negative stories coming out this morning with regard to yesterday's game. Not only the performance though, there has been some really big news with regard to injuries. We are going to be discussing the extent of those to Sergi Roberto and Rafinha. We're going to be talking about some quotes after the game from Jordi Alba, and we're also going to be centering a lot of focus around a player who's currently not at Barcelona but is on loan and pretty much destroyed Real Madrid in yesterday's performance. All of that and more coming right up. Let's do this. So if we start straight away then with Sergi Roberto, the player that picked up an injury at the very end of the first half yesterday against Atlético Madrid. He went straight down the tunnel. He was clutching his left leg as he went down there at the Wanda Metropolitano, and he was replaced then by Rafinha, who came on in his place in that right midfield position. He then had more tests, Sergi Roberto, this morning to really determine the full extent of that injury. How serious was it? And those tests have revealed, according to Barcelona, the official news is he'll miss between 3 to 4 weeks of action, which is expected to rule him out for between 6 to 7 of our coming matches right the way up to the Christmas period, and then the break, of course. He'll be back then potentially after that Christmas break, which really is a lot of games right there. That is a lot of games in a pretty short space of time, and there's no doubt really that the squad will miss Sergi's quality, Sergi's versatility, and he will be missed in this team, and we will need players to step up in his place. And if you want to have a look at the games that he will definitely miss, he'll certainly miss PSV away on Wednesday in the Champions League, followed then by our home clash against Villarreal on Sunday, along with our games in the Copa del Rey against Cultural Leonesa, then Espanyol, Tottenham in the Champions League, Levante, and potentially our match even against Celta Vigo, which comes just before that Christmas break. So we'll have to see how he recovers. Hopefully he recovers as quickly as possible, and in the meantime, Nelson Semedo is going to have a serious run in that right back slot. Hopefully he's going to grow in confidence, hopefully he's going to grow in stature and feel important in this team, and he really does need to stake a really big claim for a permanent place in that lineup even when Sergi's back. Now is the opportunity that Semedo has been waiting for. It's a real opening. He's got a lot of games there to cover. He's got a lot of important games as well. Valverde will have absolutely no choice but to play him consistently, and it's going to be really interesting to see how he does. And then sadly we move on to the man who replaced Sergi Roberto in yesterday's game, and that was Rafinha, who there really has been some shocking injury news this morning regarding Rafinha, as Barcelona once again officially announced that the midfielder will have immediate surgery on an ACL injury that he suffered in yesterday's game against Atlético Madrid. And when I read that news this morning, that was a massive surprise to me. Reading that about Rafinha, it was a big shock, simply because ACL injuries are usually very serious, and usually you'd see the signs of such an injury. A lot of pain, a lot of immediate, unable to continue. But yesterday, Rafinha completed the 90 minutes against Atletico. It was only this morning that we heard that news about his ACL injury, and now he could miss the rest of the season as he recovers from that surgery on his knee. Very disappointing for him, and the only thing that I can think of really from that game yesterday, when you're thinking about it, when Rafinha could have picked up that knock, that injury, it was midway through the second half. He seemed to be hobbling around, he seemed to be holding his leg a little bit, he didn't seem to be moving all that comfortably, and he did that for quite a few minutes. But instead of signalling to come off, to make the substitute, Valverde didn't make the decision to take him off at the time. He then continued, perhaps playing on with that injury taking effect, and obviously now there are some very serious consequences for Rafinha, and I'm really sad for him. I'm really sad for him because, as we know, both himself, his brother Thiago, they've been hampered by these sort of injuries right throughout their career. He's had a lot of bad luck, a lot of really unfortunate big injuries over the last few years, and it's just really sad again that this has happened to Rafinha, just like the season-ending ACL injury he suffered back in 2015, and then another serious one with a meniscus injury back in 2017. The last few years have been so frustrating and so unpredictable with regard to injuries, getting that time on the pitch, and now all of that cut short when it might be for the entire season. But just like with Sergio Roberto's injury, now you've got to look around, you've got to see where the replacements are going to come from, and you're going to see players really who will likely receive more game time in Rafinha's long absence now. And luckily for us, we do have some very strong options in those wider areas and players that can come in and play that kind of role. You could see the likes of Ousmane Dembele and Malcolm as well, given more game time in the coming weeks and months now. And tomorrow, I will be uploading a special video solely dedicated to Ousmane Dembele and the best way that Ernesto Valverde has to get the best out of him and what he needs to do that in the coming weeks and months. That'll be coming up tomorrow for you guys. But I now want to move on to Jordi Alba, as there is some news relating to him, who, as we know, has been in excellent form this season, one of our biggest attacking threats down that left-hand side, key in everything we do going forward. A fantastic combination with Lionel Messi, as we know, which makes it even more surprising, really, that the board are yet to even speak to him. No word whatsoever about extending his contract, which expires not the coming summer, but the summer after that in 2020. And Jordi Alba was pretty puzzled himself after the game yesterday when he was speaking to journalists. He said that he felt it was very strange that he hadn't even been spoken to by the club, by the board, about an imminent offer, or even the fact that they intend on renewing him at some point. No word whatsoever from the board to Jordi Alba's representatives, and especially given there's been rumoured interest from the likes of Juventus, Man United, and Alba being such a key player right now, the only guy we have at left back, and of course, such a high level player right there in the peak of his powers right now. But according to Wanda Metropolitano, following those words from Jordi Alba yesterday, there will be a meeting next week with his representatives to discuss any potential new deal, iron out some details, and just get some thoughts from both sides with regard to that new contract, which we do need to do, and we do need to get sorted out. But now we do move on to that man, Marc Cucurella, a player who is currently on loan from Barcelona at Eibar. And I know that many of us yesterday, watching that game between Eibar and Real Madrid, we were so impressed with the way that Marc Cucurella performed against such a team like Real Madrid. Obviously, Real Madrid right now struggling massively for most of the season, but he was a really vital part yesterday of that Eibar team, which took them apart. 3-0 it was on the day. It could have been even more goals, and it's worth noting here that Cucurella was not playing at left back. I see a lot of comparisons saying that he should be in the squad over Miranda, and whilst that may be the case, you've got to stress here, Cucurella yesterday was playing a lot further forward in a more advanced role on that left-hand side, in an almost left wing role that it was yesterday for Cucurella, but he was absolutely outstanding going forward. He really was. He played such a mature game. It was really wise head on very young shoulders, and he was so good getting into that final third, using that huge pace that he has, and he really was troubling Odriozola. He didn't know what to do with him. He couldn't handle him. He then went off injured because of him, and then Dani Carvajal came on and didn't fare much better against the brilliant Cucurella yesterday. Now, technically, Cucurella in that game only picked up one official assist. He bullied Odriozola off the ball. He directly crossed the ball into the area, low and hard, right into the path of Sergi Enrich, who steered it home for Eibar's second goal. But he did have a direct contribution in all three of Eibar's goals. He could have easily left the game yesterday with all three assists for their goals. He was getting to the byline, he was getting in behind, he was exposing the space in behind Real and producing some really impressive passes in that final third, finding his man every single time, which caused chaos for Real Madrid and gave Eibar a famous win at Iparrua. And of course, the good news for us is Cucurella right now is only on loan for this season. After that, he'll return to Barcelona, and it's going to be really interesting to monitor his progress this season at Eibar, see how he does, see how he matures, see how he grows, and most importantly, where is he going to play for the majority of this season? Is he going to revert back to left back, or is he going to stay in this new role a bit further up the pitch? He's got really raw pace, a lot of pace there, and also a lot of attacking quality, as we saw yesterday, to go with that pace as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how he gets on. We are all going to be keeping an eye on him. He was brilliant yesterday, and really a joy to watch. And just finally, guys, a word of congratulation for Sergio Busquets, who yesterday joined the 500 club at Barcelona. He reached officially 500 appearances for the Blaugrana, and that really is an outstanding achievement for somebody who's been at the top of his game now for year upon year upon year. And to mark the occasion, he was, I thought, one of our best players yesterday. Brilliant in that midfield. He had some fantastic touches on the ball, some silky skills that we always see from Sergio Busquets, and I thought he was, like I say, very, very good in our side yesterday. 324 appearances in La Liga, 98 in the Champions League, 56 in the Copa del Rey, 14 in the Spanish Super Cup, 5 in the Club World Cup, and 3 in the UEFA Super Cup. 500 up for Sergio Busquets, and I'm absolutely sure there's a lot more to come too. And that basically brings us up to date for the day's action from the world of FCB. Now, like I say, tomorrow, guys, I will have that Dembele video coming up for you. A lot of focus on him, an important message. How we get the best out of him moving forward. We need to do that. We need to see that man on the field more often. He needs to produce those moments. We want to see that more and more and more, and that will be coming up for you tomorrow. I will see you then, guys. Please leave your thoughts in the comments down below relating to everything that we have discussed today. Thank you, as always, for joining me. I'll see you soon, but until then, as always, Vesca El Barça.